You are now listening to Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell, the voice for the people. Join Richie alongside co-host property damage attorney Hans Kennon as they bring light to the taboo world of big insurance companies, exposing their tactics and fighting for justice. Hear stories from contractors across the state. Contractor Talk, here to protect homeowners and uncover the truth.
All right, welcome to the show, Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell, every Monday night, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. right here on this radio dial, 94.9 FM, 950 on the AM dial. And Hans, we laugh about this all the time when I say on this dial, because it's like, here we are on it's like analog machine, right, that nobody really messes with much anymore.
Turn on the tape recorder.
Right? Even driving in your car, most everybody's still streaming. They're still on some sort of, either on your phone app that hooks to your phone or whatever, Spotify, whatever. But speaking of, we are also on Spotify. So if you're listening to us on Spotify, then keep listening to us. And to note that we have a YouTube page as well. So like and subscribe us there. Don't miss any show. And if you want to check in on Hans' Dapper Suit of the Week, boom, as we go in and out, zoom. At no given time or no given show, we find the same outfit on this man right here, Hans Kennon. True. CJ, our guest here today, this is Hans, and this is his outfit today. I task you to go back and check every show.
It's a challenge.
It really is. It really is. It's the Hans challenge.
Throw down the gauntlet right now.
I love it. And on the show, it's something a little bit different every week. And every week we bring you a new show. So we are live on the radio in Central Florida on 94.9 FM, and then we are on streaming, I would say by Wednesday or Thursday of the same week. So you'll have a few days for us to post produce it, plug it in everywhere, but anywhere you stream, so iTunes, anything, is where you can find our show. Just type in Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell, or go to our website, contractortalkpodcast.com, and you can find every place that we stream or video or whichever. All right, so I'll just try to say that just one time. I'm think about our Spotify listeners. It's like every time we come back from a break, like, oh my God, here's this guy again. No commercials, just here we go, back on it.
We are now ad-free.
We are. Yeah, I love that.
Well, I'm not for the station, but for our show.
Yeah, it's definitely not free, but we got to figure that out anyway. But every week we have a new show for you, a new guest and a different topic. And we are backed by the Restoration Association of Florida. We're a nonprofit association by contractors for contractors, and have opened the scope for consumers, as contractor rights are only as good as consumer rights. A lot of advocacy in this organization, and then in this association rather, and then now more about, let's talk about what the industry is and what's going on in the industry as far as more professional services are involved. People on our show have been like drywall, like the hole in the wall drywall guy. Yeah. Which is great. I mean, you elbow the wall and you're like, oh, for crying out loud, and so you call this guy for the simple fix, right? And then to the plumbing people that we've had on, roofing companies, even an insurance agent here. Believe it or not, we were very, very good to this guy, because agents, I mean, you can't hate the agent, right? I mean, you hate the game, right?
You hate the game, not the player.
There you go. And in this case, it's like they are not citizens, right? They are not people's distrust, right? They are just the agent of trying to sell a good policy at a good rate to a homeowner that has to have insurance.
Right now, he is pricing my house as we speak. I got an email from him today that we're looking at it, and I have to get him some photos of under my sink, just to make sure what kind of braided lines you have underneath. Actually, when I bought the house, because I'm a little weird, I had all the.
I agree with that.
Well, it's a fair statement, I think.
Yeah.
The house was built in 1989. I had all the plumbing valves changed out, because they're famous for blowing off the wall when you try to turn off the water to your toilet or something's running, and they break off in your hand.
Right, it's just become so brittle. It's been there for 30, 40 years.
So I went around and had every. My wife was like, "What are you doing?" I'm having a guy change out all the valves in the entire house. And she said, "What are you doing that for?" I said, "Because one day the toilet's going to leak, and we're going to go down and turn it off, and it's going to blow off the side of the wall." But yeah, so we actually did change out all the plumbing valves in our house.
Right. Yeah. And over the years, we've had people here that have been in the air conditioning industry, and when we started that years back on what is the humidity in your house today.
Yes.
Now I believe, since it's kind of cool outside still. It's gonna be pretty low. It's gonna be pretty low. So
my house honestly is always a little more humid on the scale than I would like.
Is it the upstairs unit? Is that which one you're talking about?
Let's see. Well, we're not too bad. Maybe we may throw off the listeners today. We haven't played the game in a while.
We really haven't. But because we talk about the importance of most people look at the temperature and the thermostat for their comfort. And in Florida, if you have above 60% relative humidity in your home, mold can grow. And so that's really the range, is 30% to 60%. You don't want to be too dry, right? I mean, we're not in the Midwest for crying out loud, but from the 30 to 60% range is where you should be. So for comfort, you'd be looking at both, right? You want to look at temperature and you want to look at humidity. Many times that if your temperature, or if you're just looking at the temperature and you're not monitoring the humidity in there, you could have a situation where your air conditioning system shuts off and it doesn't run long enough to exchange the airflows within your home.
Because you bought too big. You said, I want the biggest air conditioner you got.
Give me the biggest one, man.
And they said, I want extreme air conditioning. And they sold it to you. And then what happened? CJ's going to tell us later, I assume. But upstairs, my inside humidity, 58.
That's pretty.
But it's still pretty dry out, though. I always thought it's
pretty good for your upstairs unit.
Okay. So that's pretty good. So then the family area, 50.
All right.
That's pretty good. And then the master bedroom would be 54. That's downstairs.
When did you upgrade to the master bedroom thermostat? We only had the two.
No, actually, I added a fourth thermostat, but between the master bedroom and the front bedroom, we put in what I used to call a voltage activated ventilator, which someone said that's not what they're called. CJ will again inform us later. But it actually takes the airflow and splits it mechanically between the two rooms instead of having to add in a whole nother unit.
Is that a damper?
Yeah, we call it a damper.
Oh, there you go, damper. We call
Damn it! Did I say is it a damper or a damper?
It was much more eloquent.
Voltage activated ventilator or something like that. VAV is what I was.
Sounds like something you'd be hooked up to in the hospital if you couldn't breathe.
Well, it is somewhat because it pumps cold air right in there. So it takes a single unit and splits the air through a dump valve or something. Well, there's a whole Tony. It's crazy up there, and there's a lot going on in my attic. But it splits the cold air from each room, so only has to use one unit instead of two, because the front room gets really hot in the afternoon from the sun.
Oh, so you can have two different thermostats going on
a single unit. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. So yeah.
Wow. That's you're.
It's like NASA at my house. Well, I got a bunch of stuff going on there, so it's craziness.
And every time we do have somebody on the show, it's like, wow, I had no idea about that. What are you doing next week? Feel free to come check that out at my house.
Yeah, actually, it's very helpful. If you have a room that's very hot, without having to put a whole nother unit in or put a mini split in, you can do this damper thing where when one calls for air, it just has a little valve that just kind of directs air one way or the other.
Yep, just needs to be installed correctly. But yeah, you can zone an AC system into multiple zones.
Yeah,
I love that. And so we have the perfect not only topic but the situation here in Florida, to where it's like kind of in between the cool and the warm season. So your business is now kind of slowing down, I can imagine, or at least steadying out in the residential air conditioning market.
Who are you speaking to?
I'm just about to say that. And so talk to me about this. And today we have CJ, and you have a couple different companies you want to talk about today. Go for it, man.
We do, yes, sir. Yeah. So we have Florida Air, which operates out of Lake County and services Lake County up to Marion County up in Ocala, the Villages area. And then we have King's Heating and Air that does Ocala all the way up to Lake City. So yeah, a couple of them there.
All right,
We service most of Central Florida.
Excellent. And what would you say your everyday type of call is?
Actually, right now, like you were speaking about, humidity is a big one. So people are noticing that humidity is rising in their homes, and the reason being is that AC is not running so much with the cooler temperatures. So an AC unit is basically just a big dehumidifier. So if it's not running, you're not pulling that humidity out of the home.
Right. So is that something you just have to monitor yourself and just kind of push the air down? Or are there thermostats nowadays that can regulate based off of humidity?
There are. There's thermostats that can regulate based off humidity. Some systems are not compatible, but most of them are. But yes, absolutely. You can install a thermostat that reads humidity as well as temperature and will kick the system on when it senses that humidity getting too low.
I probably cannot install that. So when you were looking at me, you look at me very intently, and I'm thinking
a lot of people blow fuses. So yes.
Yeah. So
have a professional do it.
Okay, that's where I was going with that. I would probably just have you come in. Like, if you can mail it to me and then even send me instructions in a YouTube video, and I would be like, just because there's wires there. So
small wires.
Right.
One thing we do at my house is like a model of things. Every time we have guests on, I'm like, hey, I do this. People go, really? I have humidistat bathroom fans,
correct,
which I'm betting CJ also sells. So that when you put them in, they automatically, you pick I think just a humidity level, and when the humidity hits that level, they're in all the bathrooms. As soon as the humidity hits a certain point, when you start to shower, all of a sudden it goes on, and it stays on until it gets the humidity back down.
That is correct.
Yeah. So HVAC guys sell those, and that's a huge help. I always feel better when I get in the shower and hear the thing go on. I go, getting rid of that humidity. Otherwise, it just pours into the mirrors and the ceilings and the drywall and all this.
So it's the dehues and the fart fan?
Yep. It's similar. It's essentially that for your house. Yes.
That's pretty good. And it comes on automatically.
Yeah.
Yep.
Huh. That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
And that all goes to help with the humidity levels in the home that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Dark, or I was going to say in the backside of like dark closets or whatever, where you don't get a lot of airflow, where people have that smell, and it could translate or transmit into your clothing, which then you can not a very good smell carrying that around, especially if there isn't a diffuser anywhere or some sort of air output, however you want to say it. So to ensure that you have enough airflow exchanges in your home, not only in those areas, but bathrooms, kitchens, those types of places, that if you look up and you have a big room and a big area, and you only have one output, one of those diffusers, then at this point, CJ said, when people call you out on that, and maybe they moved a wall themselves or something like that in the home, added a closet or whatever, how do you go about that, and what do you normally recommend?
We always look at the duct design on it. So we want to look at the duct work and see, is there another outlet that should be there, or another supply vent that should be there? Is there a return in that room? Are we pulling some of that air out of the room? Are we getting the proper air exchange? So there's a couple of things that we look at when we encounter something like that.
Oddly enough, I can speak to that also. I'm telling you, we have all sorts of HVAC stuff at our house. I think I'm almost done. But the bedrooms upstairs didn't have their own return. There's a big return in the hallway. Mm-hmm. So then obviously what happened would be when the air would kick on, it has to pull air from under the door. So you started getting like this whooshing sound because the return was trying to pull this air under everybody's door. So we had to go in and open it up and in the attic and put returns in each bedroom to make because it would literally was like it would sing like the big vent in the hallway would like a harmonic.
Yep.
Like the air would and one of my kids was he was like the ceiling screaming. I'm like, what are you talking about? I went upstairs and it's like because it's literally
pulling all the air right there, and that's actually code now. They've revised that, so your new construction builds, and if you change out all your ductwork in your home, they're now requiring you to put returns in every bedroom because of that reason.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah, because you're freaking out your kid in the middle of the night.
You can't sleep. I wonder.
You don't want the boogeyman in the hallway.
Right. So he keeps chasing me.
But yes, we put a return in every room.
And that's very important. And you mentioned it, CJ, as an indoor quality guy, you need at least 4 to 6 air exchanges per hour in your rooms. And so if you think about it, like CJ said, it's like you gotta make sure you're pulling air out of the room and you're putting air back in it. So you're changing the airflows within so many times. I mean, all the way up into a clean room environment and a crazy clean environment in a hospital, you're looking at 500 air exchanges per hour, down to 4 to 6 in a residential environment. So, and everywhere in between, different types of needs or reasons why you need to pick that up. And it's really so you can filter the air within the building and literally change it, dehumidify it, literally what HVAC stands for, heating, ventilating, air conditioning. So, and that's reducing the relative humidity and making it comfortable to the temperature that you like. I was going to say some people like it much warmer than others, and that might mean to them shutting off the air conditioning. And I think that's dangerous if you live here in Florida and you have a lot of semi-porous materials in your home. Clothing, linens, beddings, all of those things are super susceptible to high RH or relative humidity in your home that could first start with a weird smell, and you never want to show up. I've had it before where I've left jeans in the washer too long or whatever, and then you like, what's that smell? It's like, it's like that, you get that moldy smell on there, right? It's a totally different, but everybody's done that, or at least, am I the only weird one? But anyway, everybody's done that, I'm sure. And to wear that, but imagine that being on all of your clothing all the time, like your suits in the back of your closet, and you're like, yeah, no, they're gonna have to clean these. So to prevent that,
Hans rotates his too much.
Oh, absolutely, his is on like a just so far out that you can't even see it. It's just a long line, just goes all the way out.
It's
and
like I put it from a defunct dry cleaner and put it in my closet. But everything's under K. Like when I go, what's the last name? Kennon. He goes, everything's under Kennon. That's what I want.
That's me. Thank you. Come on, Ro. But those areas, and we mentioned the bathroom, and you've gotten the fancy fart fan, which I think is super important. And landlord-tenant situations, I've told landlords to have an electrician come out, and sometimes there are two switches, one for the fan, one for the light. So make that just one switch.
Correct.
When you turn the light on, the fart fan comes on. There you go. Lights on, fans on. Keeps the humidity pulled up and out of there, so the cooling can stay in the room a little bit longer. So there you go.
Well, I learned too is about when you have to test and balance. When I used to work more in the construction field, test and balance. What I have learned is if you open your front door and air comes whooshing in, you got a problem. Your house should be positively pressured.
Right.
That is pushing. When you open that door, you should feel the air behind you pushing out. But if you open your door and air comes whooshing in, you got some sort of problem. You got some sort of problem somewhere because it's sucking air in and allowing air in.
That's a good point. You should have positive pressure in your home in an inside environment where four walls, a ceiling, and a floor exist. And so it's the example of such. And I mean, it's changed since the 70s. So we put in more electronics, computers, gaming stuff, televisions, and then they were thinking that the best thing to do is really make the house as tight as possible to not have any airflow. And we found out that that's not the right thing to do. It's almost better off to be back on the crawl space with like the wood slats in the attic and all the ventilation everywhere. Cross ventilation is super important. So, but they use our air conditioning system as being the lungs of our house to kind of create that ongoing pressure. So it's a part of it. And so the way the house is built, we've talked about this before with roofers about what do they say? Spray foaming the attic, and you could spray foam that thing so tight that you cover the vents, and it becomes a bad situation after a while.
Yeah, the spray foam a lot of the time requires makeup air into the house for that specific reason.
Right. So you have to create that. So now you're finding other vents to add into the home, and even add that mechanically, so you're circulating the air inside. But CJ, in your coverage areas, you offer or what kind of plans are you offering for your customers and your homeowners?
Yeah, so we do a biannual maintenance plan that's really ideal for all of our homeowners. That allows us to come out twice a year to your home, once in the spring before summer gets kicked up and all that heat comes in, and then once in the fall before winter takes over and we switch over to heating.
Nice. Nice. Yep. And then what's the price for the average residential?
So that's $210 per system for that. So Hans would be a little bit more expensive than your average household.
He might have two systems.
He might have a couple. Sounds like two or three there.
I got three. I have three compressors. Three compressors, 3 800.
Yep. So that would get a little bit more pricey. But no, that plan is great. Like I said, it allows us to be out twice a year in the home inspecting everything. And we get a much better idea of what's going on, whole picture, if we're out multiple times per year rather than just once every couple of years.
And with that, I'll call it a membership. And with that membership, do you get, like if I call you on a Friday night and say my air conditioning went poo-poo, do I get a special price on that?
Yep, absolutely. So you do not, if you're signed up on our biannual maintenance, then you do not pay any after-hours fees. So weekends, obviously after 5 during the week, you don't have any added emergency rate or after-hours rate tacked on. You also have it equates to about a 20% savings on parts and services, on other repairs that you may need. So you save some money there. But yeah, the biggest thing is priority service and not paying an after-hours fee.
That's great. That's good because your air conditioning never breaks down Monday through Thursday, but Friday night for some reason, Friday 6 o'clock, that phone starts ringing. And it's funny because it's always like that. It's through the week, you have a great week, you come home Friday and your air conditioning's not working. You're like,
yep,
of course.
Or Saturday morning before your kid's birthday party. That's another big one.
Right. And it's always the flux capacitor, man. Always that damn thing. But with that, you do a lot of service routes and such. So I imagine you have these parts and the units in stock. So if somebody wanted to get a quick turn and get a new air conditioning system, how fast are you guys on the turnaround time?
I mean, for a whole new system altogether, a lot of the times we can do it next day or 2 days out. It just depends on what system we go with. But that's another big benefit to the biannual maintenance plan is we're out. So we know if a system's getting older and you're looking at replacement, we can do that planned replacement rather than I'm down in August and we have a big problem now.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what's the story about Freon these days? Well, what is?
You can't keep up with that.
What is?
We are in the new refrigerant, the new A2L refrigerant. So
is that still quote unquote Freon, or is it actually a different material?
Yeah. It's just another blend that they can. Well, one's a blend and one's not. So we're a dealer for both Trane and Goodman. Trane, along with most of your other big HVAC brands, went to R454B refrigerant, which is a blend. And then Goodman is doing, Daikin, their parent company, is doing R32, which is not a blend. But those are the two refrigerants that are out now.
I say, so are they? I guess what is? I mean, if you have an older unit, I don't know what year, and I go, hey, my unit was built in 2015. Like my older one is 2016. Is that running? Freon, or is that running something?
Yep, no, that's running. That's on 410A. So that one's actually really not all that bad. The 2005 running on R22, then we have a problem. That's getting real costly.
Yeah, I was going to say, at what point can you not service it?
That's what I was trying to get to. At what point do you go, hey man, I can't put this stuff in?
We can service it if it's an R22 unit. It just doesn't make sense to you. It's so expensive that by the time we do a repair, and especially if it requires refrigerant, then you're looking at an absorbent cost, and it doesn't make sense. At that point, it's time to just go ahead and replace the unit. But those systems are 20 plus years old anyway, so you're well beyond the lifespan.
Too expensive. You mean the refrigerant itself is prohibitively not? It's not your pricing is the same.
Yeah. Our pricing on whatever labor fix, service fix that we're doing is the same. Yeah, it's just the price of the refrigerant itself at that point.
Now, why? I always say why. I hate why questions because I ask people why questions and they have no reason to have any knowledge as to why. But why is old Freon like you would find in like an old stock in your basement or something? Oh, it's found gold here. Like, why is it so expensive?
Because it's been phased out by the government, so you can't get it anymore. They're not making any more of it.
There you go.
Who is supply and demand?
Who is they? And is there a competitor from they that sells like aftermarket stuff, right? I mean,
there is plenty of aftermarket, absolutely. So there is aftermarket R22 replacements that you can put into systems, and some companies do that. We are not one of them because it's not the same. And so the system wasn't originally designed for that. That's not something we feel comfortable putting in. And even that is expensive compared to what the new refrigerants are.
Interesting. Yeah, wild. Yeah, because I was putting off my the replacement of several of the commercial units that I have, and every time like, I don't think we can do that. I'm like, how long do you think you can get it if you just put that piece in there? Maybe another 6 months. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll see you in 6 months.
Yeah.
And not the best all the time, especially when you get into summer and pulling a little bit more load as it works a lot harder over the summertime. So definitely be prepared. And with discounts and with maintenance programs, you're the person to call. How do we get a hold of you?
So you can give us a call, 352-602-4050. That's going to be Florida Air. King's Heating Air is 352-278-2820. Either way, just depending on your service area, but you're going to get the same people answering the phone, and we're going to take care of you. You can also find us on our websites at floridaairrepairs.com or kingsheatingandairrepair.com.
Love it. All right, more air conditioning questions here and more relative humidity questions here on Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell. We'll be right back. All right. We're back live on Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell every Monday night right here, 94.9 FM, 950 on the AM dial, and streaming to you in a few days. Spotify, iTunes, everywhere you'd like to stream. Of course, on YouTube. Find us, like us, subscribe us there. Check us out on our website, contractortalkpodcast.com. Of course, we're backed and sponsored by the Restoration Association of Florida, nonprofit association. Find us there, whether it be on LinkedIn or any social media. We do have a donate button. You can press that there and donate a one-time or a monthly subscription donation. I love that.
Does it make that sound?
It does, and
Nice.
it's very warming sound.
It is.
But we're talking. Speaking of warming and humidity rising, right? We're warmed up.
There's a softball.
And we're, especially being in the state of Florida, we are in a crazy state of mind and non-well-being. But the average humidity in the state of Florida is 85% year-round, believe that or not. So with that, you want a good, comfortable indoor space. And so we're talking air conditioning today, and we're talking to CJ about the different units that are available today. Offline, we were talking about just the average life expectancy of certain air conditioning units, and if we're planning for it by being a member of your company to have them come out. Are there discounts available for that? Can you tell me about that?
Yes, absolutely. So if you're signed up on our biannual maintenance plan, you're going to get a 1% discount for every year that you've been with us. So as those years continue on, the bigger discount you get on your new system when it is that time.
And so, so you're wearing the train jacket right here. So with that average, I don't know, 3.5, 5 ton unit on a residential home, what's the average life expectancy?
So nationwide, you're looking at 15 to 20 years. In the state of Florida, we're a little tougher on systems, as you can imagine. So we're looking at 12 to 15 years on your average life expectancy of a new AC system.
Now, does that differ if you get closer to the ocean?
Yes, definitely. So if you get closer to the ocean, you want to have your outdoor, your condenser coil and units actually coated with a corrosive protection on there. That will help you. But yes, if you don't have that, you're certainly looking at lowering that.
I guess from a practical perspective, is it actually hard to stop a train?
It is. Have you ever tried?
No, I haven't. That's why I'm curious. I've never done that.
I wouldn't step in front of one, but no, it is. Yeah, they have a great reliability, and that's why that's what we install in 90% of our residential homes.
Oh, okay.
That's great. That's great.
One thing I didn't know, I tell you, I'm like an HVAC nerd. I put a mini split in my garage.
Yep.
And over the summer, it was just ungodly hot, and I flip it on, and it's running for like half an hour, and I finally go, I don't think it's getting cooler in here. And so I get a ladder and I get up in front of the split, and I get again, because I'm a geek, I bought a laser thermometer, right? You put it in the hole, and I bought it just for this test because it was bugging me. And I'm going, it's like blowing out like 70 degrees or 65, whatever it was. I was like, should be colder. And then I stopped and I said, wait a minute, it can only drop so much. The delta has to be only so much less the outdoor temperature.
Right. Yeah, so about 15 degrees. Yeah.
So that's what I was curious.
20 is what we shoot for.
Okay, I was going to say
20 is what we shoot for.
All of a sudden I stopped and I went, wait a minute, it's like 90 degrees out. It's putting out like 68 degree air, and I went, oh, it should be colder than that.
Yeah.
And then I realized that it can only do so much. And I just thought I'd make that point for people who also go, my air conditioner's not blowing cool enough. And I stopped, and I've had that feeling, and I went, it still depends. It can only go so much lower than what the outside temperature is.
We get a bunch of those calls in the middle of summer. In the middle of summer here in Florida, we'll have 110 degree days sometimes. And if we get a call and they say my air conditioner's not keeping up, and we ask them what the temperature is, and they say, well, it's 78. I'm like, it's doing just fine. Just step outside on that front porch for 5 minutes and walk in and tell me your AC is not working.
But it was a real revelation standing in there, with a little laser thing, poking it down the hole, doing all these things. Going, there's got to be something I'm doing. Maybe it's broken.
Yeah.
And I was going to make the call, and that's when I stopped and went, wait a minute.
Yes, the outdoor temperature and relative humidity is important when looking at or trying to factor what is supposed to be right for that in that environment, and in a garage too, especially with being how hot it is, and in limited venting. I mean, you've got more warm air coming in than escaping out of there without having that return. Who has a return in their garage? I mean, you had it through your plenum.
Right, yeah. Well, the plenum, as long as it's not moist.
That's right. Nobody likes a wet plenum.
Yeah, exactly. CJ, do you guys sell water heaters? Do you sell water heaters by chance?
We do not. No, we don't do water heaters.
I was curious because apparently I have a thing about HVAC. I have a water heater that has a heat pump on it.
Yeah.
That actually extracts hot air and blows cold air when it's heating into my garage. So I was curious if you guys happen to sell water.
I just want to go to your garage. I mean, it must be the coolest place on earth.
I'm telling you. Absolutely.
He's got a mini split in there. He's got a hot water tank that like spits out cold air.
Is your door all insulated on there too?
Yes, on the back side of the garage doors, but there's an insulation kit.
I knew it.
That locks all that in. But the
not going to lose a degree of the inside of the house because of the garages.
But the water, sometimes you got a water heater, man, and because I have kids who are like walruses, that are constantly taking showers, and boy, we walk out of the garage, even when it's relatively warm out, and you can feel a real drop in temperature from the heat pump on top of the water heater.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
Sure. Yeah.
That's great. Now, are there any other services you guys offer outside of AC, or is that's your main thing?
Yeah, AC is our main thing, but we also do duct cleanings as well. So
awesome.
we can take care of that for you. We do an antimicrobial coating on after all of our duct cleanings as well. So that's something that we offer.
Are you a proponent of the UV lights, the UV lamps, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. When they're applied properly, correct. Yep.
How do you apply it improperly, just so I know?
Well, you'd have it in the wrong areas.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, you want to make sure that it's in the right areas and that it's working properly. If you have a UV light, a lot of the times those bulbs are only good for 3 to 5 years. Mm-hmm. So you're wanting to check that as well to make sure that the bulb is still operating correctly and that it's effective.
Now, the ones I have on my air compressor, they have a little window that shows the blue, like it's the blue light, whatever it is. So is that to tell me when it's working and not working?
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, good.
Little fun fact, that won't work when it's in heating. It only works when it's in cooling, or should only work when it's in cooling.
All right.
Yeah, good to know.
Huh. When it's too cold for the heat pump, I just find this fascinating. When it's too cold for the heat pump to work, and you go into what I used to call emergency heat, that used to be just like a wire that got red hot. Is that still
close to it? Yeah. So you're referring to electric heat strips.
Yes.
With it, yeah. So you have a heat pump system, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah. So with your heat pump system, that will produce heat during normal temperatures. Once it drops below freezing, though, you'll a lot of the times you'll kick in that electric heat kit as your emergency heat and backup heat.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't think we'll need that here.
Not often, but every once in a while.
There's like 2 days out of the year that you'll need it.
Because it always smells like the house is going to burn down when it goes on. Because it's a weird. It's like
happens every November in my house. I don't have the heat on until then. I pop it on. It's like somebody burning something.
It's like a space heater.
Every year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, it's like brushing off the Christmas tree.
Yeah,
burning all the dust, burning all the dust.
As long as you don't actually have smoke coming out of the vents, it's okay.
Just burn it off, doing its job. Now, outside of that, like whether it be changing new units, having a service plan set up, you also do new construction?
Yes, yep. We do new construction as well. So that's something, and we like to get involved early if we can get in during the planning phase. Because a lot of home plans, new construction plans, are not thinking about the AC and ductwork. So that's something that we love to get involved in early with.
Yeah. Ductwork is some pretty difficult work. Do you recommend changing out the ducts when they change out the system?
It all depends. So no, you don't need to change out your ductwork with every system, but your ductwork a lot of the times is going to last you about 25, 30 years. So if you look at it that way, then probably every other time you do the system, you're looking at ductwork as well. When
you say ductwork, you mean if it's sheet metal, it's fine. But if it's the round, what is it?
Duct board, the flexible duct.
The flex duct.
Mm-hmm. So there's a couple of different things. If it's the sheet metal, it's fine if it's sealed properly and it's insulated properly.
Right.
You know, what happens a lot of the times is those seams kind of bust loose, and then you get the insulation come off a little bit, and now you're rusting out that sheet metal, and so now it's, you know, now you're looking at a situation where you do look at replacing it.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. But with the duct board and flex duct, a lot of the times in your older homes especially, you have 1-inch duct board rather than the new 1.5 or 2-inch duct board. So that's something, if we see 1-inch duct board, a lot of the times we know that it's old, and it probably is looking at replacement time for that as well.
Okay, all right, that's good. It's really good to know some facts here. I always wonder how long is the life expectancy of an AC system.
Yep.
Here in the state of Florida, around 15 years, around 25 years for duct work. That's good to know. Now, when you're cleaning ducts, you have an opportunity to see inside and such as well. So if there are insulative ducts that just now, like you said, just drooped a little bit, now it's condensated and it's just like little bubbles of water in there and such. Are those the times that you're saying, hey, this duct is inadequate? And can you just repair that one? Or are you looking at saying we have to replace...
It very much on a case-by-case basis, yeah. So if we have just an isolated area and it's easily accessible, then sure, we can look at replacing just that one section. A lot of the times it's going to be multiple areas if you're having a problem like that, though.
Gotcha.
Well, what do you duct clean? I mean, I know when you on your washer, your dryer, that's putting out tons of lint and all sorts of things. You need to get those ducts cleaned. What do you typically find, or what kind of stuff gets in your air conditioning duct? It should be relatively, well, other than animals.
Hopefully no animals. If you have animals in the ductwork, we probably got some damage, and we are looking at replacing things.
We have a bigger problem, I think.
But yeah, I mean, you think about just your average dust, debris that you see in your house. You know, you think about your ceiling fans, right? How much dust you'll have on those after a period of time without cleaning them. That's what's going through your ductwork as well.
Have you been to my house? How'd you know that?
How often should you change?
Educated guess.
How often do you change your filters?
Depends on the filter. So if you have a 1-inch filter, you look
pets.
at every 2 weeks. Yeah, correct. Pets are another big factor in that. If you have a 1-inch filter, you're looking at every 2 weeks to a month. You don't want to go longer than 3 months on a 1-inch filter if you have a really clean house. 5-inch filter systems, which is what we install on most of them now, you're looking at 6 months to a year.
The actual the accordion pleat box is 5 inches.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, each one of them is a little bit different. They'll be 4 to 5 inches.
But still, I mean, like my house still has older equipment, late 216, 217, 218. Everything we still have is a 1-inch, still a 1-inch filter.
Plenum.
Yep.
Yeah.
2 weeks to a month.
Can you run? Obviously, the air handler in the garage.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back on our short break. We'll be right back after this. All right, we're back after the short break. 94.9 FM, 950 on the AM dial. Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell. We're here with CJ, and I'll go with Kings. I love that. All right, Kings Heating and Air Conditioning. That's what's up. And a lot of information here, and I've learned Hans. You can really pull out the nerd in him when we're talking HVAC, and I'm loving this. And I did have a question. We were talking about it in the beginning of the show, and how there could be stagnant air in some places and such. And then we brought up about how Hans was like splitting up the, it can be a little bit warmer in this room, a little bit cooler in this room. Are those some things that you offer for your customers? If you're like, listen, I want this bedroom a different temperature than this one, and maybe you're able to install a dampener in there, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we got to look at the ductwork to see if it's accessible and if it's able to be done. But yes, we can look at zoning the system, zoning the house at that point. So we need to look and see if it's a single stage or a multi-stage or variable speed system that you have first of all, because if it's just a single stage or a 2-stage, then we need to look at installing a bypass damper as well that goes from the supply to the return. So there's things that we got to look at and make sure that it's even possible to do, because we don't want to do it the wrong way.
All right. Am I adding a letter? Is it dampener a certain thing, or is it just a
damper.
language?
Damper.
Just damper.
Dang it. It's my Kentucky dialect. I don't know. For so many people, anyways.
But we find it very effective because, like I said, our bedroom gets warmer in the morning, and as the sun goes over, it gets warmer in the front room, and that was where we had the problem because the thermostat was in our master bedroom. So one of our kids who occupies the front bedroom, it was like, hey, can I get in your room? I got to turn it down. And then we turned it down to like 72. it would still be like 76 up front, be 72 in our bedroom. We're not going to freezing. So that was why we ended up putting the damper system in to split that. Or our room, our rooms stay at they're each at their essentially relative temperature.
Correct. Yep. And there's a lot of things that'll play into that. So sun positioning is obviously what sounds like is what's going on with your home, but you also have location of the air handler. A lot of homes that are especially on a single system, that you have the systems out in the garage, and it's always those far bedrooms on the other side of the house that are hotter than the rest.
Right.
I have a situation in mind where when I was designing my home, I put my air handler in the middle of the house, knowing better. But what I didn't think of was I have a wraparound porch that wraps around 3 sides. Well, that one side that doesn't have a wraparound porch gets all the sun directly on those windows. That side of the house stays hotter. So there's always something going on.
Right.
Interesting. And you mentioned new construction, and to get in there sooner than later, because contractors in that build phase, I don't see them adding in. Okay, they're supposed to, I think, on the MEP side of it. But anyways, have all that mechanical set up to where it knows where the ducts are going to be running, where the AC is, and all that. But just in case, so but you guys have the ability, and then in-house folks that takes a look at it, make sure that the permits are right, make sure that the drawings are right, and then you guys can install the unit with no issues for the city.
Yeah. So basically, what happens is you'll always have to have those documentations done before permitting, anyways. But what we find most of the time is on that manual D, the duct drawings. A lot of the times, we're not able to do the duct work the way that the drawing has on the plans because of height restrictions, different barriers, whatever it may be. So we can look at the plans and say, hey, this is not going to work, but we can reroute things this way where it's maybe even more efficient to do it that way.
Yeah, that's good to do it up front, so you're not making big changes and have to, I'm sure that would be crazy to resubmit plans and such like that with the way things go with the city and the county.
Multi-level especially, if we have 2-story, 3-story buildings, that's when things get really tricky.
I bet.
From a drain perspective, I know like two of my air handlers are up in the attic, which I don't like. I'm always worried the drain line's going to back up, and I'm going to start raining on my second floor. The other one's in the garage, which is you're more comfortable with because it just runs in the garage and no big deal. Well, anything else different you should do, like if you have air handlers in your attic versus how we clean the lines and for the one in the garage, or
nothing different on how you clean the lines or how you treat the drain lines, but definitely emergency drain pan underneath the units, as well as safety switches for cutoffs, and always testing. Float switches, correct. Yep. So you should have one in your pan itself, and then also on your regular drain line.
Okay.
And that way, if something's backing up, it'll cut that system off.
All right. I know. I got float switches. I don't know if the attic has pans in them. I'll have to go look.
I would bet it does, but if it doesn't, you definitely want one.
Yeah. No, I would agree. I haven't thought about the pan. We thought about the float switches when we went in and redid it.
So my building in the middle of summer, just this last year, because we're on the last year, he's like, he told me years ago, he's like, you're lucky if it lasts a year, and I'm like, on you, it's been 2.5 years later. I'm like, that's right. He's like, I cannot fix this any longer. Well, apparently I don't know what this means, but he's like, we have some leaking on the inside. It's like, it's not the roof, because we had the roofer come out, and he said, well, this commercial unit that's on the roof has a built-in pan.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool. I was like, so just take out the remnants of it and put a new pan in there. And he's shaking his head. No,
not that easy.
That's what I just thought. I was like, listen, we can build anything with like a 3D imager thing or whatever. Right. Anybody's home nowadays, you can make anything. You can make a little ashtray, whatever. Like, and why can't you just make a new, pan or whatever? And he's like, yeah, they don't make them anymore. You just have to replace the whole unit. I'm like, wait, over a pan?
Right.
But
doesn't seem like a big deal, but that AC unit's pumping out 30-40 gallons of water a day in the summer, so it turns into a big deal.
Yeah, it does. And I thought, I don't deal with this issue. I haven't dealt with this. I haven't seen it in months and months, and that's what he told me. It's like, well, it's working pretty hard. It's super humid out, very hot outside, and we're getting that leak inside. And eventually, so he's shaking his head, and he's still doing what I said. And well, at least I said, are you sure? I think you can just like just tighten up a little bit and kind of make a makeshift thing out of there.
Flex seal on it.
Right. Duct tape. That's fine.
MacGyver.
He actually he cut an aluminum pan out and put it in there, and it did okay for a while. And like I said, I made it to the next year, but finally I did it. We had to get the crane. There were 7 ACs on the roof. That's why I was waiting. So I'm not going to tell you what the bill was, but it still hurts. But just to get the crane out there, for crying out loud, and then I had to do the roof at the same time, because you can't pull the units off the roof and then not do the roof, and then I'm like, oh no, the AC's leaking. No, it's the roof. Now this time I got a warranty on both. So. Anyways, all right. So, but that all that stuff is very confusing, and you were even laughing at my incompetence, really lack of knowledge of it. I think I'm like every other homeowner out there that it's like, are you sure you can't fix that? But as you mentioned, you have a maintenance program that'll help with the longevity of your unit. And if not, you have a percentage off. I mean, you're up there for 10 years. You got 10% off the pricing of it, and preventative, like you said, I was paying my guy every 6 months, come back and Band-Aid that sucker. And I did get a couple more years out of it, and then boom, we got the new unit in there right when the timing was right. And we were planning on doing it. We had all that stuff calculated. We had permits pulled, all that stuff. So it rather than doing that in the midst of an emergency, it's good to give you a call. So how do we get a hold of you over there at King's?
So you can reach us at 352-278-2820. You can get us on our website, kingsheatingandairrepair.com, and you can also book directly online. If you just Google us, you can book an appointment right there.
I love it. All right. How far are you out on appointments right now?
Next day, yeah. I mean, same day or next day, depending on time of day.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So with that big reach from Central Florida all the way up to Ocala, and including the villages, which is a big span of a geographic area, as well as very densely populated areas. So, from mobile homes up to big homes, I can imagine the different calls that you get. What's the? And I know I asked you this before, but does it differ in certain areas? What your main call is? Your main service call?
Not so much, no. Really, a lot of the times it's drain lines. This time of year, it's humidity, like we were talking about earlier. But drain lines are typically the number one reason for us getting a call.
And what's the fix on that? Would that be part of like the tune-up thing, or that be?
Yeah, absolutely. The preventative maintenance is what it says, preventative, right? So every 6 months, if we're out doing that preventative maintenance, we're cleaning and treating that drain line. And we're also educating our homeowners, too, to show them how they can be doing things in the gap where we're not there, so that they can prevent those issues as well.
All right. And then when you're looking at that, or the drain line or the humidity, to the humidity, would you say or what's your average resolve on that? What are you recommending to people if they have heightened humidity?
So there's a couple things we need to look at. One, what's our thermostat settings? Do we need to change out the thermostat to one that has a humidity sensor on it and can operate off that? 2, are we looking at going from a single stage system up to a multi-stage, 2-stage, or a fully variable speed system? Because all those are going to help with the actual humidity in the home.
Right. And then, of course, we were just talking about the Freon. Is sometimes could the coolant be lagging a little bit, or maybe even a leak somewhere, the reasons why they're not cooling as good?
Absolutely. Yep. Could be a cause of it. Could be just your coils being dirty. If your coils are dirty, your system's not going to cool as efficiently as it should. So there's a lot of different things we look at.
Yeah. So if they don't have a maintenance program with you, then coils can get dirty pretty quick. Then a year
Absolutely.
or so.
Yep. I mean, you think about for your condenser coils outside, that's where your heat exchange is happening. And so if you're having a lawnmower ran by, I mean, you think about all the weather that we have in Florida, there's a huge variety of things that could cause your coils to get dirty. If you got trees in the area, pollen season, there's all types of things that could go on.
I was just going to say, what I've learned over time as a homeowner is everything's complicated. But like you think, how difficult can that be? Then you call the guy and he goes, and he comes out and you're like, wow. And HVAC, I think especially, electricity is complicated, plumbing is, but HVAC is kind of a combination of electricity and plumbing and everything, like in this little microcosm of that.
We joke all the time that our technicians are like mini GCs, because you got to be able to do a little bit of everything when you're in HVAC.
Yeah.
Right. You really do, because you don't know if it is an electrical short, or if it's condensation to now heightened humidity, and now you're an indoor quality person. Right now you're just like, you wear a lot of hats, so you have to really figure it out, test every scenario there.
I was saying, they're like cardiologists. They're like a cardiologist only are two things, and even they acknowledge that you're either an electrician or you're a plumber. One of the two things. Either you're working on pace and rhythm, which is electrical, or you got plumbing blockages like cholesterol. So actually, the AC guys are more like cardiologists because they're either electricians or plumbers. And both things have to work in order for your home to cool.
That's right. And one thing we've learned from the Florida legislature, when they made the dramatic changes, and one of them being in special session, the last one, Senate Bill 4D, where they made all those condo changes because of Surfside, and really what that's about is they want you to know as an association what the because we do 40-year building inspections through my engineering firm as well, and what we're mostly doing is telling you on your main I would say just
systems.
Yeah, the main systems, whether it be the HVAC system, it'd be the pool pump, how long you have left on that, what the life expectancy is, what it's going to cost at that point as well too. So where I was going with that, with your maintenance plan, you're going to know about when your unit is going to be bad. So if you have to save up $4 or $5 grand, you're like, okay, well, I know how long I have to do that. And with your maintenance program, it's right on point. It keeps you up to date with that. So CJ, it's great to have you on the show. I appreciate you being here. And one last time, how do we get a hold of you?
Yeah, I appreciate having me on. No, it'll be 352-278-2820 for Kings, 352-602-4050 for Florida Air. And you can reach us on the websites, Google, social media, everything as well.
All right. Yep. If you don't have a maintenance program set up right now, get one set up with King's Air Conditioning. And thank you so much for being on the show. We'll talk to you guys next week too.